Hello guys, this playlist will be totally dedicated to Python and MySQL, which means we will create a bunch of Python scripts that will get into MySQL Server so we can do specific job there. Like we can create databases, drop them, we can create tables, insert new values into rows and stuff like that. You know, the normal stuff that you're going to do into MySQL terminal client, right? But we are going to do that through Python. That being said, what about people who think that they don't have enough MySQL or Python knowledge? Don't worry about that, guys, because if you're persistent enough, you will handle any kind of situation. And on my channel, you have dedicated playlist for Python and dedicated playlist for MySQL, of course. So don't worry about it. Okay. So what about MySQL Server on your machine? Well, I'm absolutely sure that majority of you guys know how to turn your machine into MySQL Server, but for the people who are like beginners, absolute beginners, yes, I do have dedicated video how to do that. Well, at least on Windows, but if you are on Linux or BSD systems, I don't have doubts that you know what you're doing. So yes, I do have a video which is well visited, I think, in the last 5 months, because my channel is not that big, so it's kind of success. And here's the thing: when you install dedicated MySQL Server on your machine, you must absolutely set root password, okay? But for other like options that you have, like XAMPP or EasyPHP dev server, you don't need to set password for root account, because it will basically be blank, non-existent. So just pay attention about that when you write connecting parameters in your script. Don't worry about that, we are going to talk about that more. Right, so my advice, if you want a 3-in-1 solution or multiple solutions on your machine, just grab XAMPP and you will be fine. You will turn your machine not just into MySQL Server, you will also have PHP, Perl, and of course Apache. So your machine will be web server and MySQL Server. Same stuff with EasyPHP. See here you have PHP, Apache, MySQL and so on, bunch of options. It's free for development purposes, is no worries about that. But my best advice is to always, if you're a beginner, grab dedicated MySQL Server installer from official website. Why official website? I always say that because of security reasons. You don't want to grab, you know, things from FTP servers or from torrents, because you will end up with Trojan horses, malware and stuff like that. So always grab official big, you know, applications, important programming stuff from official websites. In this case, just type on Google MySQL community downloads, and it depends what kind of system you will have, you will probably end up on this page. Yeah, for a Windows installer, it's around 400 megabytes, nothing special. And just remember, when you are installing it, definitely set root password for it. Right, when we are done with that, well, what about running that thing on our system? I mean, once when we have it, how to run it if we are on Windows, for example? Well, the thing is very easy. If you have installed your MySQL Server like to be run as a Windows service, then you can go, where is that thing? Just a second. You can go to Windows Services. Let me grab that from another monitor. Go to this listing, find MySQL 80 probably, and in my case I can run it manually, so I'm going to right click and start, and everything will be fine after a couple of seconds. So this is how you run it through Windows Services. There we go. Here we are running that thing. So we must confirm that thing. Is it working? Okay, so let's do that. Just go to your start menu and find MySQL terminal client, or grab that icon and put it on a desktop, whatever. In my case, it's on desktop. MySQL command line client. I'm going to double click it, and as I said, a password for root account must be set. So in my case, it's ultra secure 12345. Never use this thing in production. I'm just practicing around, messing around, recording videos. Don't worry. about stupid password. As I said, it's ultra secure. Anyway, press enter and we are in. Right, so let's confirm that not just that we are in, we can also issue commands. So always use uppercases here for MySQL commands. It's kind of standard in programming. Show databases, use semicolon at the end, and here we are, everything is working. These 4 databases here are default, and corp is my database. Anyway, that's not important. We are going to work on that more. So the question is how to get into MySQL Server through Python. Well, the thing is that we need to have MySQL connector installed. And so think about this as a driver. You know, when you put a new graphical card into your machine, you need to install driver. Well, same stuff pretty much here. I mean, at least analogy is, if you want to work with MySQL Server, you need to grab Python connector for MySQL Server. No, you don't need to grab it from here. Because if you have, you know, pip installed with Python, you have that option when you are installing Python, of course. Just type pip install MySQL connector Python, and that's it, guys. So the same line here, same name is from here. So that's it, and you're pretty much done. So let me confirm that. I'm gonna press enter here to see what's up. I already have that thing, then I deleted it. So yeah, requirements already satisfied in my case. Okay, so we are kind of cool. Don't worry about pip version. I don't care which version is operational right now. Anyway, let's write our own first custom Python script so we can get into our server and do stuff there. Right, so first we need to import our module, which will be like import MySQL dot, don't forget dot, connector, and you don't need to have this thing here and Python. No, this is just like this is when you're installing module, but when you are using it, dot in between and no Python at the right side. Right, so let me confirm that immediately with F5. No problems here, which means everything is fine with module. Okay, so what about connections and your connection to MySQL Server? Just connection. Well, if you have knowledge of PHP here, you definitely know what I'm going to type here. So we're going, for example, to call our connection con, something like that. Then we are stating that from MySQL connector, we are using connect. And now we need to provide here specific connection parameters. Well, what is a host? Because we are on localhost, of course, localhost, and if you are accessing a remote machine, of course, IP or domain. But don't mess around with your real machines, like if you have hosting, because it's easier to work in a localhost. If you mess something up, it's faster, I think, than to go into control panel of your hosting company, to change things there, to check something with phpMyAdmin and stuff, or stuff like that. So yeah, just practice with your localhost. And in my case, user is root, maybe your, you know, account setup is different, I don't know, and password. So you need to type this, password. Yeah, type password and not password fully. Right, in my case it is 1 2 3 4 5, and yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Now let me press F5 to confirm that everything is fine. There you go, no errors. Okay, so we have connection, but it is not just enough to have a connection to server. You actually need to have a way to like state commands. So see this cursor blinking here in a command line client? Well, we actually have that thing in Python scripts. So we will always work in Python with this cursor, which will be in Python. Let me type that. So it's like virtual cursor. So let's create it. I'm gonna call it cur or something like that, C1, I don't know, who cares. And then we are targeting this specific connection, and then we are stating cursor. Okay, And guys, that's pretty much it. Now when you have this line, that means in Python you have this blinking thing. So why is that important? Because when you issue specific commands, you can target that cursor to see what is happening, what happened before, let's say. Because see, we have happening and then again we have a cursor. So same stuff here, okay? So question is, what's gonna happen if I print this cursor? Can I kind of do that? Well, print, we are going to just say print cursor and we will have result. Nothing executed yet because definitely we don't have any kind of requests to server. But still, this is result from this operation. Well, this cursor, what that thing is? Well, if we are going to type here, what that thing is, this, it's a class basically. Well, let's use the term class. MySQL cursor class. Right, but this is just theoretical stuff. So how we are going to issue specific commands? How we are going through Python say show databases? Okay, let me see what I can do. We'll say cursor, we will target cursor, and now we will use execute method here, or function, call it whatever you like. Execute. So as you see, a lot of similarities with Python. With PHP, actually with all other programming languages, because MySQL connection is just at the end of the day MySQL connection. Right, so what I was typing here, show databases. Okay, let's do that. We are going to say show uppercases, of course. I mean, you can use lowercases, but you know, it's a standard to use uppercases. And please note, you don't need to use semicolons here because this is not MySQL terminal. This is a terminal and you need to have end of instruction here with semicolon, but this is a Python and Python doesn't need, in this case, semicolon on this line. Right, I know that people from C++ and PHP will be a little bit puzzled with this, but you know, that's life. Anyway, let me run this stuff. F5, nothing happens. Well, actually it does happen, but you don't see results, because this is executed, but you are not grabbing results of what's happening before cursor now. Because just think that you have another cursor blinking here, which is blank. Okay, but now we need to grab this stuff. So how we are going to do that? Some people will say, okay, just type results here and just put results of this here, and then you can say like for x in results, you can just say print x with the for loop. So what's gonna happen is, well, problem. What you need to do is just have this operation individually, like totally individually. You don't need to put it somewhere. You don't. Okay, remember, this is cursor. This is not like variable, classical Python variable. And now let's target cursor here. Okay, and now we will get those results. F5, and there you go, guys. You have whatever I have in a terminal, you have in a Python. And this video is almost 40 minutes long, so definitely I need to shut up. And in the next tutorial, we are going to work with specific database, for example this corp database. And to do that, you don't need to state like use corp here, just, you know, add another thing here like database equals corp in my case. Okay, if you have some other database in your case, then of course type that here if you're practicing, if you have something from before from your work. And yeah, now this thing will work, but we need to execute another command which will be select all or select tables. I mean show tables, just to see what I have in a corp. And this will not change because we are targeting cursor. F5, there you go, guys. These are my tables in cursor database. I have some documents, internal control, some prices higher than $100, and stores in different cities. And actually, if you go to, of course, this is my system, so I need to go in my terminal. Right, if I type like a show, use corp here, use corp, I'm in my corp database, and when I say show tables, I will get absolutely same result. So everything works. Here we are, guys, okay? Absolutely same stuff. So the bottom line here is, if you're targeting specific database that you already have, just stay that right here and you're good to go. Okay, 15 minutes. Long tutorial. I need to shut up and render this video. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you next tutorial where we will proceed with this MySQL dedicated playlist. And of course, subscribe if you can. If you like something, then press that, how to say this in English, thumbs up, right? Thumbs up, yeah, something like that. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next one. Okay, guys, in this tutorial we are going to learn how to create automatically multiple databases where names for those databases will be in dedicated list, and also we will extract database names from external textual file. Right, before we do that, in the last tutorial I was mentioning that you can use here password, but yes, you can also use password, like a full word. And here I'm using user, and also you can use username. And here for database you can use DB if you like. And actually, let me read a little bit from documentation about that. So the thing is that these things with asterisks, they're like, how to say this, synonymous argument names, like aliases basically, but usage of those things with asterisks is discouraged. Oracle recommends not to use these alternative names with asterisks. In the last tutorial I was using it, but you choose to use whatever you like, okay? So user, password and database is totally fine if you like it. And actually, let me just change this to like what is recommended in my script. Right, what was it? Username? Let me check that one more time because my memory is bad. No, just user, sorry. My memory is very, very weak these days. Full password and full database. Okay, this will work. F5. There you go, same stuff. Now, some people will say, well, this line is a kind of long, so it's not in a Pythonish spirit. Can we have that on individual lines? Well, yes, actually, no problem. So let me flush this thing down there, and also user and password and database will be on individual lines, individual line, and also you can flush this thing down there like individually, right? And if I press F5 here, everything again will be totally fine. Right, now some people, especially experienced people, will say, well, this is like a connection kind of thing. Why don't we construct individual module that will hold these lines that are dedicated for connection? Well, sure, we can do that. Let me just copy paste this, if you like that, to a new file, and the name of it will be I don't know, like a MySQL on connection, something like that. So we are going to copy paste it here, and now we have individual module dedicated for connections, to connection. So of course we can grab this stuff and put it here through imports. So how we are going to do that? Well, we will just grab everything because module is our own and small. So from the MySQL con we will import absolutely everything with a star, and when I press F5 the thing will work again. So some people like that approach, okay, but some people, especially if they are beginners, they like to have everything when they're learning at the top of their script. And I totally understand both sides. So yeah, let's help beginners here. Okay, so let's have everything in our script. And let me test that with F5. It will work again. Okay, so the next question is, before we end up with the database creation, is do we need to close cursor and connection when we are done with operations? And actually it is kind of advisable. in their example, in official documentation, you see that yes, they're closing cursor, okay? So this is like connection, yeah. So they're closing cursor first and then connection later, right? So let's respect that. Maybe you will like that, maybe not. It's totally up to you. But anyway, guys, MySQL Server will figure it out what to do with the timeouts and stuff like that. But anyway, let's do stuff manually, like close cursor and also connection close. Right. F5. There you go. Same stuff. So that's kind of cool. That will work. Okay, what I was about in this tutorial. Yeah, database creation. Right. So we don't need this line. What we need is names, DB names list with a couple of databases here, like test1, and just it's really not important what it is here, just something short and simple, stupid and stuff like that. So test 1, 2, and 3, and now we will use for loop to roll through this list so we can create those individual databases. So for DB in DB names, we will execute stuff in cursor, execute, and we will say create hopefully I typed that correctly, create database. And now do have a little bit of space here, because otherwise the thing will not work, and we will concatenate this part of operation, I mean instruction, with individual names. Right, so DB here, and I think we are kind of cool, so let me test that with 5. But before we do that, let me also check what's happening with the cursor, like cursor again, execute, show databases, just to have immediate result on the screen. Show show databases. I think it's fine, because with this loop we will extract that listing of all databases that are created from this list, hopefully. Right, variables F5, and there you go, guys, you have it here, thanks to these lines. And also you can check that manually if you like. Where is my terminal? Right, so you can say show databases, and there you go, test 1, 2, and 3. Right, can we delete those things? Well, yes, we'll just say drop database. Drop database, very simple stuff, same stuff, F5, and now a result is a kind of default. And if we check manually, same stuff, we lost our 3 databases. Very scary stuff. What the hell is this? We have updated your shut up. What the hell now? Your computer needs restarting. Well, thank you, but not now. Jesus. Anyway, variables. Yeah, I'm totally lost now. Anyway, guys, the question is, what about that external file? Well, let me first open that file. Let me actually see what is there. It's kind of textual file, database names, it's a name, and here we have just 3 different names for databases, 5, 6, and 7. Right, so the first thing we need to do is we will create a blank, totally empty list that will hold those names that we need to read from that file. So names, and it's empty for now, and yeah, we are going to say file here. This is handle for file reading, and I don't want to confuse myself, so I will just delete this thing. So we will open that file. The name was, if I remember, database names.txt, and we'll just read from that thing, and then we will close file. But of course, in the meantime, we need to do a couple of useful operations. Well, first we need to grab those names and put it here. Right, so how to do that? Well, for x in file, this is our target, we are going to read all lines. Read lines, okay, this is a method, and then for every line that we grabbed, we need to put it here into names. So names dot append. So we are grabbing those individual lines and putting it here. So the thing is that we will get, we will get a list, but this list will hold names with new lines. How to explain this? Let me just print that. You will have vertical like spaces. Let me explain that. I'm going to print immediately names, and you will see immediately what I'm talking about. Just a second. F5. There you go, guys. See, we have a problem with new lines in names, so we don't need this. It's a kind of problem. Okay, so there are multiple ways how to evade this, but the stupid way that will work, that is on top of my mind, will be for like epsilon in names. Then we'll just print those epsilons. And what we're going to get now, see, so now we don't have like /n. Yes, we do have spaces, but we don't have /n. So can we somehow use that? Well, let me try. Okay, so we need to change this line into actual operation on cursor. So cursor dot execute and create database. Space, little bit of space, and plus that specific epsilon that will represent names from list that is created and fulfilled with the real names from here. So this will work right now. So let me actually test that with F5, but also it will be very nice if we can like print what's happening. So cursor dot execute again, and we will just say show table, show databases. Show databases, okay, and here we'll print what's happening. So this is just execution, and we are talking about cursor operations, and now we need to list that thing. So how we are going to do that? Well, for, I don't know, like a C in cursor, we will print that C. Print that C. And this is kind of confusing, but it will work. Okay, so F5, and hopefully, right, there you go, guys. You have totally new databases and everything is fine. Let me check that with show databases in terminal. There you go, guys. That's kind of cool. That will work. So the next question is, can we drop them automatically? Well, sure. Let me see what I can do. Well, actually pretty much nothing. I'm just gonna substitute create database with drop database, and the thing will work. Okay, F5, and there you go. We don't have those databases anymore, and manual check right here, show databases. There you go, same stuff, the thing will work. Now, some people will say with experience, why I don't have a little bit of like a space when we are creating databases, like time difference, like pause, because maybe something will happen on a side of server, like we will fire too much requests. Let's say like you will fire 100 requests to server for some stupid reason, you are just experimenting. Well, rudimentary option here will be just to use like a time model, because we can sleep for 2 seconds between operations. So we can import time module right here, of course. And actually, the rule in Python is to have imports on individual lines. So sorry about that, I'm gonna flush it down there. Import time module on individual line, that is correct. Right, where I was. Okay, so here, when we are creating our databases, We also need to have that pause, like time.sleep, and we will sleep for 2 seconds. Just to have a little bit, just to give server a little bit time to breathe, let's say. So anyway, F5, let me see what's up. No errors. 6 seconds will pass, something like that. And hopefully, yeah, there you go. Okay, 6 seconds. I don't have any kind of like report what's happening because I forget it. You can type here like print creating database Y, or just creating database, like custom report, hard-coded. Right, but let me first check what's happening with databases. Here we are, we have them, so let's turn that into destruction, like drop database, and as I said, you can have custom report, like print deleting DB database. Let's have a full word. Deleting database plus Y. Yeah, this will work, like a hard coding stuff. Right, F5 and deleting database, blah blah blah, 2 seconds, blah blah blah, 2 seconds. There you go. And the result. And let me check what's happening here. Show databases. There you go, guys. Cool stuff. Okay, I know that this is maybe too much of a content, so sorry about that. This is 15 minutes tutorial, but you can practice it multiple times. And guys, if you don't wanna mess around with like external lists or external files, then you can just do this. Let me type that, like totally manually, like cursor.execute. Create database, like test1, and you can just copy paste this, but it is very, you know, it's kind of ugly. I mean, if we are programmers, then we need to automatize stuff and not to hard code things, because it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of silly. And also I need to delete this line. Let me check. Right, so this will work. F5. And there you go. You don't see any kind of report because I don't have it. But the thing will work. So let me do this manually. There you go. Show databases will yield you this result. And also you can hard code operations here, which is kind of stupid, but it will work. So oops. So we will just kind of manually do this. And F5. No any kind of report here because we are kind of lazy. I'm lazy. And there you go, we have cleaned what we have created. So whatever you like, use that, but please have a little bit of like a custom report or some kind of custom check, something like that. So overall, I think that you can copy paste this to somewhere in your archives and use this script. So let me just go a couple of levels back. I need to undo a couple of things. Just a second, I want you to see this. Right. So let me check one more time. Will that work? Like create database, F5, and there you go. Oh yeah, I have deleting because I have hard-coded custom report, but it's actually creation. Yeah, my bad, but who cares? And actually, we can again check it. There you go. We can switch to drop things. And now also this hard-coded report will be correct. And also because I'm kind of lazy, I'm gonna just delete this pause, and that means I don't need this module. And let's just flush this to MySQL Server immediately, kind of aggressively. There you go. It's done like in a split of a second. Let's check what we have here. Show databases. There you go, guys. Okay, I know that this tutorial is kind of long, but I'm definitely sure that you can use this script for something in the future. Okay, right. I'm gonna shut up as always. Thanks for watching, and in the next tutorial we are going to, let me think, we will emulate, and it will be easy. Don't worry about that. It will be easy. We will emulate terminal, MySQL terminal, command line client in Python script, and it will be like a 15 lines of code. Nothing special, nothing scary, guys. Emulation of command line client in Python script. Anyway, I'm gonna definitely shut up. Thanks for watching, for subscription and support, and see you next tutorial. Hello guys, objective in this tutorial will be to totally emulate MySQL command line client with the help of our own Python script. So whatever you type here, we will be able to type in our script, and also we will get corresponding results. Right, so this is our target, and we need to first grab at least one thing from keyboard just to see will that work for testing purposes. So I'm gonna put that thing from keyboard in run this, or you can use whatever name you like here, and of course input from keyboard and a little bit of explanation what end user need to type here. So MySQL command or something like that. And also I like to have here like a little bit of space. Now let's pass this thing to execute method that will be done on cursor. Execute and run this without quotes, because whatever you grab from here by default is a string, and we can actually print that to confirm. So oops, what I'm doing, print type run this. So whatever you grab is a string. There you go, class string. Anyway, let's back to our example. Just a second, I need to delete this. Right, so now guys, you will say, okay, when I run this, everything will be fine. Okay, F5, and for example show databases, and we have a problem. Why is that so? Well, actually we are not reading results that are now before our virtual cursor. So we do have instruction, but we are not reading results. We must do that, and when we deal with that, the script will work. So for x in cursor, right now we are going to print that x, F5, and show databases. There you go guys, everything is fine. You have results, expected results, and again we are in Python shell, because that's what's happening. We don't have anything else in our script. So question is, well, how to do this like more interactively? Well, the thing is that we need to use while loop here. So while true, and hopefully true is always true, we are going to ask for that MySQL command all over again. So run this equals input, and this is kind of boring, but I need to type it, MySQL command. Okay, and is this enough? Well, no, because we need to have a way how to get out from script. Yes, we can kill our script when we go to X or when we press Ctrl C, but this is aggressive, this is not polite, so we must have some polite way getting out. So we will do check on run this. If this thing is quit, we will just break from a script. So if run this equals let's say uppercase quit, we will just break from loop. Why not? Okay, question is how we are going to constantly check for that cursor what is happening, but in such a way that we will evade errors. Well, we'll use try except a block of code, because it's very polite way of doing things. So we will try to execute this thing, execute, run this, and if that fails, we will use things in except part of this block of code, except. Okay. And now what we are going to do? Well, we need to target connection and not cursor. Okay, connection, and we will use method with the name rollback. And basically this line of code is a day savior, because let's read documentation a bit. This method will undo all data changes from the current transaction if something bad happens. So this will save our day basically. Okay, but is it enough? Well, no, because we need sorry, to check what's happening with the cursor. Like if this is fine, then we need to do that well-known for loop. For x in cursor, we are going to print that line if there is any line. So F5, and hopefully everything is fine. Okay, so show databases. There you go, guys, you have a result, but also our script is interactive and constantly asks us what to do next. Okay, so let me see what I'm going to do next. Here, like first manual and then through script. Like we're going to target this method in my case, I mean database. So use corp. Okay, let me see what I have there, and select all from show tables first. Show tables, right? So let's list everything from stores. So select all from stores, and there you go. This is what I have in a terminal. So let's confirm what's happening with this. Let me have it right here. Right, so select all from stores. So same request without semicolon, of course, because this is Python and not terminal. So let's press enter, and there you go, guys. It is not nice, but it will work. So let me confirm what's happening. First line, London, Gold Power Supply Unit. Speedy Gonzalez is a manager. So let me confirm. Yeah. There you go. So absolutely same stuff. Can we run something else? Like, can we describe what's happening with stores, like structure with the S3, describe stores. Okay, so this is structure of our table. Can we do that in our own custom script? Yes, but let me first resize this a bit. What I was typing, describe stores. Describe stores. And there you go, absolutely same stuff. As I said, it is kind of ugly, but it will work with the 15 lines or code, or even less, something like that. Now, here is the thing. See all these lines of results, they're basically tuples. How to say this in English? Tuples? I don't know, who cares? So you can extract all these individual elements by targeting positions of them. So if you want to extract ID, you will target position 0, and for city you will target position 1, position 2, position 3, and so on and so on. It depends what's happening with your tables. So these things are tuples. Right. That being said, what about if we want to get out? Well, we will just politely say quit and enter, and there you go, no red errors. Okay, guys, I think that was relatively self-explanatory. Let me see what I'm going to do right now. Okay, we can target those individual indexes, positions, basically columns. So we're trying to create our own custom generic report. I mean, it's kind of stupid, but it will work. Why not? Because yeah, we can grab these things by positions. So how we are going to do that? Let me see. Not here, because this is already done. So yeah, we are going to target results, and not everything in a line. We'll just grab position 0 and position, I don't know, like position 1 for now. Okay, F5, and select all from documents, because as I said, these things are generic. There you go, you have results, but it's kind of packed. So let me just get out and fix our report. Here I'm going to add tab, okay, /t, and now this thing will be a little better aesthetically. what I was about, select all from stores, let's say, so this will work. And also, let me repeat, select all from, just a second, from documents. And there you go, our generic report works. And select all from what I have more here. What kind of tables I have? Right. Internal control. Right, let's do that. So select all from internal control. Hopefully, yeah, that will also work. But guys, here's the thing. Don't experiment too much with generic reports, because over time you will get into problems. I mean, generic stuff doesn't promise that every time your report will look nice. So yes, we can do that, but don't experiment too much. The reason why I have this tutorial is just to show that yes, you can completely emulate MySQL command line client with Python with how much lines of code? Let me check. So last line is 27. Okay, and this thing is like probably 12 or something. 1, 2, 3, blah. I don't know, who cares? I don't know how to count. Anyway, guys, this will work, and let me confirm one more time on some big sample. Select all from stores, and there you go, my stupid report. I didn't remove it. And F5 again, select all from stores. There you go, everything works. It's kinda ugly, but it will work. And Speedy Gonzalez is a manager in most of my stores. Daffy Duck is just in some test line. I don't know, I was just practicing, who cares? Let's get out from here and finish our tutorial. I need to render, quit. There you go, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for support and subscription, and yep, see you next tutorial. We're gonna do probably something fun. Yep, see you there. Hello guys, objective in this tutorial will be to create table with the help of Python script. So I'm gonna play around with corp database because I already have it in my server. Use whatever you have. I mean, you can create that database with the help of Python script. You know how to do this from a couple of last tutorials, or you can create it manually. It's really not important. Name of table will be people, and we're gonna have a couple of columns there. Of course, ID. This thing is so helpful when we are doing all kind of searches, because this thing will always be unique and automatically incremented. We're gonna have name and last name and email and address. These things will be variable characters, and telephone, of course, will be integer. So that's what we are going to do with the help of Python. Okay, we're gonna use like a structure of script from last tutorial, because there is really no need to change anything here. We need try except block of code to evade all kind of errors that we create, for example. And yeah, we need for loop to see what's happening with the cursor. Right, so some people will type create table here and all those long instructions that we need to type, but I think the better idea is just to use something like SQL here, or ABC XYZ. It's really not important, so we can define that thing outside of try except block of code, because maybe you want to save this script multiple times for different tables. So why touch this block of code when we can just mess around with SQL right here. Right, so next thing is what we need to type. Well, first, whatever we type must be inside the single quotes, and now instructions follow. So create table. You probably know how to do this manually up till now, from your job, your experimentation, or you have watched my playlist on MySQL. I have that playlist. So yeah, I'm gonna assume that you know what I'm typing here. Create table, name will be people, and we need to open parentheses here, and yeah, we can continue here but it's kind of ugly. So let's just go one level down, and I'm gonna indent a little bit. So yeah, ID, it will be of course integer, not null, which means it will always basically exist. It will be fulfilled, and it will be primary unique key, and it will be automatically incremented by 1. This is so helpful when you're doing search. Auto increment, don't forget comma. Okay, and name, right, so that will be variable character, varchar up till 30 or whatever you like here, 100, who cares, not null, which means always in that field something must exist in that column, right? And same stuff for last name, varchar 30 and not null, same stuff. And what else I have in my preparation, right? Telephone, email, and address. Here telephone will be integer, and that's enough for now. And email, varchar. Some people use 50 here, some 100, and if you check what's happening on Stack Overflow and generally on internet, experienced people will say that we can use up till I think 255 characters here, so it's like a safe standard. I don't know if it's really 256 or 55. I don't know, who cares, we're just experimenting. You can check on that for that on Stack Overflow. Next thing is about addresses. Address varchar will be 100, let's say. Okay, so we can have parentheses here, or we can just flush it down there one level, and don't forget single quotes 3 times. Right, so this is our request, and hopefully I didn't mess these varchars. Varchar, yeah, I think we are cool. I mean, I'm cool when I'm typing, because this is kind of confusing, always varchar, do this, do that. And it will be very polite to us if we have status report, what's happening, is our operation successful or not. So we're going to use describe table here, describe people, right here, after we are done with this, hopefully. So we're going to target cursor and execute, and we're going to say describe people. Describe people. I think we are cool. We're gonna close cursor and connection because it's kind of polite, and hopefully when I press F5 everything will be fine. There you go. We have very ugly structure because that's what's happening by default, because we don't have any kind of beautification here. How to say this? Prettification? I don't know, who cares. And yeah, you can work on that, but this is very simple report. So it will get the job done. Right, let's check this manually in the terminal. I'm gonna get out describe people, and there you go, guys, pretty much same stuff. And actually I'm gonna run it again, and again I have results because of our rollback, so everything is basically fine. Let me confirm. ID integer, yeah, ID name last name, telephone email address, and so on. So we are kind of cool. Okay, so in the next tutorial we are going to create a terminal application, like you know, like mainframe kind of stuff, very simple console application, so we can put values with the help of that application inside our table. But right now, for testing purposes, let's just manually put something in this table. So how to do that? Well, insert into target, which is people, and we need to open this thing, and now we need to target these columns one after another. We need to follow specific rules. We cannot mix things. I mean, we can when we are experienced, but right now just we're gonna follow this structure. ID and name and last name and telephone and email and address. We need to close this thing here, enter, and values. So here we are with this line we are targeting columns, and now we are inserting real values, and we're gonna use a null here for ID, and that, guys, means that automatically server will decide what ID will be when you say null. Maybe it's kind of counterintuitive, but yeah, that's how we are doing stuff right here. Null. Okay, next thing will be for name. Name will be, I don't know, like John, single quotes, don't forget that, Smith. And what is next, like telephone 555-666, who cares, and email, right, John Smith at server.tld. What is next? Address, right, main road 123. I think that's enough, and semicolon, enter, and there you go. We have it. So it will be nice if we check results with select all from people, and there you go, guys. We have our first line. Let's create another one really briefly. We're gonna use up key on the keyboard, just we don't need to type that much here. Let me find values, and I'm gonna change a couple of things. Like in the same house we're gonna have John and Annabella, and yeah, Smith, same last name, and this will be changed to Annabella, and right, same address, enter, there you go. So select all from people, and yeah, we have a nice ID here, incremented by 1. That is expected. Right, so what else can we do here? Well, we can create script that will show us this like report. Right, let's do that. I'm gonna I don't know, put this in a comment, or I'm gonna delete it, who cares. Right, and I don't need this then. So here I can say, like, I'm gonna hard code things, show or select all from people, and this will be okay because I'm already in a corp database. So yeah, I think that's cool. F5. There you go, guys. We have our results, and as I said in a couple of last tutorials, we can grab these things by position, like columns, because this is just an individual tuple on a one row. So let me actually do that. I'm gonna say I will grab this thing, and again position 1, and again position 2. Yeah, it will probably be ugly, but why not? F5. There you go, guys. Now you can extract from general report, but the best idea is just to don't mess around too much with your own reports, because the purpose of this is to yield usable results, so you don't need to mess around with custom stuff down there. I mean, whatever you like. Okay, and I'm gonna go a couple of levels back, because I want you to see that source code we have used to create table. Maybe you want to create a couple of them more. So yeah, that's it. And actually, let's create another one, like persons. How to say this in English? I don't know, people 2. And here we also target people 2, and it will be done in a split of seconds. Same stuff. There you go. Let's check that manually. Show tables, semicolon, enter, and there you go. We have 2 tables. Of course, there is nothing in people 2 because we didn't insert anything. So let me confirm that with select all from people2 empty set. There you go, guys. Okay, I'm gonna shut up and render this video, and in the next tutorial we're gonna create that application that will help us to flush things through keyboard in our table. Right, and I'm gonna actually delete people2. Drop table people2. Okay, let me fix this. And definitely I need to shut up. Check one more time. There you go, guys. Okay, thank you for watching, and see you next video. Hello guys, objective in this tutorial will be to create Python application that will constantly ask us about new values that we need to push into MySQL table. Right, so here's the thing, I want you guys to have ground zero, so same situation as I have on my system. So I have deleted a previous table with 2 rows in it from previous tutorial. So right now I don't have any kind of table in my database. Right, so let's use really briefly source code from our last tutorial. I'm gonna press F5 to create a Blanco situation. Right, so that's it, and show tables. Here we are, we have totally empty people table. Right, what about at least one row that we can insert with Python, and then we can, when we grasp that, then we will create script that will constantly ask us. Anyway, but that first thing need to be realized, that first very simple case. So what we are going to do here is I'm gonna delete this, I don't need it, and here I will not use describe people, I will say select all from people, which means that we must do something before that. Right, so right here we are going to say insert into people specific values in a specific order. So what are we targeting? First it will be ID column, and then name, last name, and telephone, and email and address, I think in that order. So we're going to go to next line, we will say values, and guys, don't forget brackets, they are very important. Values, right, so again brackets, because that's like a border where we're going to put real stuff. So for ID, that will be decided on a side of MySQL Server, so when you say null, it will be automatically incremented by 1. You don't need to think about this. Okay, what about real values? Well, name will be Slavoy, and use a comma, of course. Last name will be Zizek, Mr. Zizek, and the telephone will be 555-888 or something like that. Right, mail slavoy@zizek.dat. Maybe that's real server, maybe not, I don't know, who cares. And address, right, Slovenia. I think we're kind of cool, so let me check what's happening. Right, we can have 3 single quotes at the next line, and hopefully if I didn't mess something up, this thing will work. Now check this out, when I press F5, what's gonna happen is pretty much situation that we have some kind of report and you think that everything is fine, but when you do manual check with select all from people, I always type that P more, we don't have anything. Well, why is that so? Well, the thing is, it is not enough to have only a SQL instruction, you also need to commit those changes. So yes, you do have operation, but now you need like aggressively physically push it into table. How we are going to do that? Well, the easiest thing is to just target connection. Actually, we must target connection, not cursor this time. So connection, and we will say commit. Okay, commit. Don't forget a parenthesis. And now the thing will work. But because already we have one ID somewhere in a buffer in the server, the next one will be ID 2, but it will be pushed in table. Right, let me confirm that with F5. And as I said, we have a report with ID too, but also in a terminal, when we say select all, we do have that stuff in a real life, I mean in a table. Right, so how we are going to turn this script in such a way that will constantly ask us about new values? Well, for reference reasons, I'm gonna have this thing right here in a comment section. We actually don't need it anymore, but you know, just if you forget the order of columns. Right, so we need to have some kind of explanation what's happening here. So we're gonna print to end user like MySQL custom client, like version 0.1, right, a little bit of space, and also we're gonna go to new line with /n, and after that we can print this symbol for 79 times, let's say, just to have, you know, some kind of header. Right, what about the real stuff? Okay, so first we need to grab name. We don't need ID because it will be done automatically, don't worry about that. So name. How we are going to call it, it's totally up to you. I'm gonna say key, which means, well, at least for me, from keyboard. So key name equals input name. So now our end user know what to type, what is expected. Right. What about other things? What about last name, last name and explanation, last name? What about what is now telephone and explanation telephone. Okay, and next thing will be email, and email, this is boring but need to be done because otherwise how end user will know what to type. What I was about, address. Okay, what about SQL command? Well, SQL equals, let me think, let's use double quotes here, and we will say insert into. Actually, to save time, I'm gonna copy paste this like here. Okay, and now interesting thing, of course we are not hard coding anymore, which means we will use like a string formatting to push things in a real SQL command. How to do that? Well, we're gonna open these brackets, and as I said, ID will be null, so don't worry about that. What about name, last name and so on? Well, we're going to use these like empty places that will be fulfilled with real stuff. So let me just briefly have a couple of them, and number of them need to correspond with number of columns we are targeting. So 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. Right, after that we are going to close that section with 3 double quotes, and of course you probably know about format, and now we will grab stuff from reality, key name, last name and so on. Again, we need to respect order here. So key name and keyboard last name, and from keyboard telephone, and from keyboard email and address, key address. Okay, and I think that's kind of cool. So let me delete this. I don't want to confuse myself. And commit, of course, must exist in a try block of code. So hopefully this will work. So let me check what's happening. Okay, so F5, and right, at least we have something. So name will be John, last name's Smith, or whatever you like, telephone 555 888, or I don't know, 777, who cares, email john at server whatever, address main road 123. When I press enter, what's gonna happen? Well, it seems that we have a problem, and if we check don't worry about it, we will solve that in a split of a second. And if we check what's happening with real stuff, select all from people will yield us absolutely same stuff. Why is that so? Well, here's the thing, and a lot of people create errors here. See these placeholders that will be fulfilled with specific stuff from reality? Well, they're not treated right now as a strings, and in this section we need to have strings, which means that we just need to enclose placeholders in single quotes, and now the thing will work. Okay, F5, John and Smith and blah blah blah, email john@john.com and address main road 123. Hopefully when I press enter, there you go guys, we have results. So now we need to check manually, are we correct, because it's always good to do that when you are developing your stuff. And there you go, you have real stuff here, but also in table, and that is important, most important thing. Right, so some people will say, well, what about that ID? I mean, do we need to use it all the time? I mean, why to type it? Well, actually you're right, you don't need to use it if you don't like it for some reason. You can just delete it here and also delete it right here, and the server will take over what is happening with that ID. But as I said, it depends how you like it. Okay, F5, blah blah and 111 blah 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 and blah at blah, and address will be of course blah 123. There you go, we have it. Let's check it manually here, and we need to have that thing at ID 4. Okay, we have it in reality, that's cool. Right, what about a script that will constantly ask us about new things? So let me see what I'm gonna do. Right, okay, here we will have beginning of while loop, so while true, and we need to push all these things for one level to right. So I'm gonna just see from where to where, well, pretty much up till here. So okay, and here we need to have a way to get out from script. So quit, or no, I cannot use that. So quit equals input, enter quit, enter quit to get out or to break, something like that. Okay, and now we need to check it. Now this question need to be before everything else, because there is no purpose to have it after you are done. So you must have that like check. Right, so if q equals quit, we will just break from the script, and everything else guys will pretty much remain same here. Right, I think I'm kind of cool. I mean, this is cool, I'm not cool, I don't know. Anyway, it depends how you think. F5, right, enter quit to break. And now, well, quit, let's just test that. Okay, we are out. And I mean, before that we can actually print that we are out. So print script script terminated, F5, right, enter quit, and at least we have script terminated as custom report or information. So what about insertion? Will that work now? Enter quit to break, no, or we can just press enter and we are in. So name will be John or Michael, how to say this, Michael blah and some number and blah again, and it's really not important. Address is a blah 123, and when I press enter, here we are, I have this line in my table. Okay, so let me actually check that manually. Is that the case? select all from people, and here we are. I have that thing and at number 6, and a couple of seconds ago I was practicing with number 5. You don't see this in this video because I created some error, but I have corrected it, so right now everything is fine with ID 6. And every time when you use it, oops, what I just did here, I blocked this, right, anyway, every time when you go to next line you can enter new stuff. So let me confirm that, like that, and now I need to have this on line 7. Okay, I think yeah, that's it. So quit and script terminated and a manual check. But where is my terminal? Just a second. What's happening? Oops, I don't know. MySQL. I need to log in again to manually check stuff, so use corp and select all from people. Okay, we have line 7. That's it, guys, in this tutorial. And again, I'm pressing X for some reason, maybe because I'm too stupid. But anyway, the script will work, so you can archive it, use it whatever you like. And in the next tutorial, what we are going to do, well, we can create a script that will first manually delete specific things, and then it will ask us what needs to be removed. Okay? As always, thanks for watching, and see you next tutorial. Hello guys, objective in this tutorial is to learn how to delete specific rows based on criteria. So the most safe and secure way is to use IDs because they are unique, and some people, for extra safety, they pair ID in their combination with some column. Of course, if for some reason you don't have IDs or they're like manually created, you can combine a couple of columns like name and email, or a last name and address, or something like that. So just make sure that for production you have some safety check in place. Anyway, that's like a general advice. So let me first delete this 7 line here, which is complete gibberish from our last tutorial. Right. So SQL, how we are going to create it? Well, SQL equals, and this time I'm gonna try to do this with 2 double quotes. Why not? We can experiment. So delete from people, this is our target, people where ID equals 7. Will that work with just 1 pair of double quotes? Let me test that with F5 and make a note that I have commit on connection here, and yes, I will get listing after we are done, hopefully. F5, and we don't have 7 here. Okay, so do we have it in reality in our table? Right, so row 7 is removed. So what is next? Well, can we pair like name, let's say, and email? Well, let's test that. So delete from people where name equals something and mail equals something else. So I'm gonna put this on another monitor to see, or actually I'm gonna try to remember. So anyway, I'm gonna delete Michael. This will go here with blah blah as email. So hopefully I can remember this. Michael, and email is blah at blah.tld. And if I didn't any kind error here, what I said, if I didn't create any kind of error, whatever, everything will be fine. Right, F5. And now I think everything is fine because we don't see something on a line 6, on ID 6. But let me check that practically in reality, and yes, we don't have line 6. So just make a note that in a couple of seconds we were using a combination of name plus email. You can combine whatever you like here for extra safety. Right. That being said, what about case when you wanna like grab something from keyboard? Can we do that? Well, sure, just like in the last tutorial. So let me see what I'm gonna do here. Delete from peopleware, and let's revert to ID because it's a very easy thing to understand. Where ID equals something that will be in a placeholder, but remember that that placeholder need to be inside quotes, single quotes, because we don't want to confuse ourselves. Right, and we are going to continue with format. So now we need to grab something from keyboard, which will be I don't know, like ID to delete, or something that will explain good what's happening here as a argument, as perimeter, call it whatever you like. Right, so how to get it? Well, ID to delete equals input and custom information for end user, ID to delete. Right, I think we are kind of cool here, so let me check that with F5. Okay, ID to delete. Let me see what I have. Just a second. Something on line 4, I mean ID 4. Okay, let's get out. Oh, no, I need to continue, sorry. So ID to delete 4, and here we are, we don't have line 4. Okay, so can we turn this just like in the last tutorial to constantly accept what we are going to delete? Well, sure. Let me see what's up. Right, so here we're going to say while true, and we will check for end user input to get out if it's possible. So input, I'm gonna ask type quit to break or something like that, that will better describe what's happening, and single quote need to be here actually. Right, so if q equals quit, I'm gonna just break. And before that we can say print script terminated, script expendable. Right. Okay, so here what's gonna happen with this piece of code? Well, we actually must flush everything to the right side. Okay, and actually we can use, well, yeah, I think this is enough. Just a second. Right, so F5, type quit to break, quit. Okay, this will work, and it will be very polite if we have some kind of explanation what is happening. So print like custom MySQL ID remover version 0.1. Okay, something like that, and of course we are going to print some kind of stupid header times 79. And here we can have a little bit of vertical break with a /n and F5. Okay, cool. Type quit to break. No, I'm gonna press enter, and ID to delete. What we have here, leftovers, basically 2, 3, and 5. Okay, let's delete something gibberish here. Right, so this is kind of gibberish. Number 5. I'm gonna say 5 here and enter, and now we don't see that 5. But script asks us again what's gonna happen, so I'm gonna press enter, and again I'm gonna delete number 2. And that's fine. Enter again, I'm gonna delete number 3, enter, and now we don't have anything here. So what's gonna happen if I press enter? There is no any kind of problems now, and if I say 1, because we have connection rollback, you will not see red arrows here. They are like in the background, and rollback is handling stuff for us. Right, so if you say quit here, we are out from our script from operation. Right, so what about real situation? Select all from people, nothing is there. Okay guys, nothing special here. Just remember that you can combine everything, and for safety reasons use ID always, and if you want extra security, combine ID plus name or ID plus column, last name, or whatever kind of column you have. And if you don't have IDs, just use 2 or 3 columns so you can combine them to evade possible errors. Right? And yeah, I'm gonna shut up and render as always. Thank you for watching, for support and subscription, and see you next tutorial where we are going to update stuff. Update stuff in table. Okay, thanks for watching, see you there. Okay guys, in this tutorial we will write Python script that will help us to update everything in a row. So not just one column, one field, but absolutely everything. And the target will be ID, because that's how it's easy to find specific row, because IDs are automatic and always incremented by 1, but you know that up till now. Okay, so the question from the last tutorial is that I have completely empty table, no rows, so let me just use my own script to add new things. This is from a couple of tutorials ago, and yes, if you don't have it, you can just do stuff manually here, but yeah, I'm gonna use a script. So this was for insertion of new rows, F5, and right, enter, and name will be John, just 2 lines, nothing special here, 2 rows. Last name Smith, and telephone 333-444, email john@john.tld, address main road 123. Okay, here we are, and right, yet another will be for Annabella, and it will be same last name and same, let's say, phone number, email, Annabella at server, and address will be same, let's say uppercase M, why not, and 123. Right, okay, so let me first manually check that, but I need to get out from script first politely. Script terminated. Right, so select all from people need to yield us 2 rows. Okay, this is our data, and now let's update something here. For example, for John we will update primarily telephone number, but yeah, we need also go through all of these fields. Right, so how we are going to do that? Well, I don't need this script for insertion of elements now, and we will actually use previous script dedicated to removal of stuff. We will just change a couple of things because it's kind of easy. So it will not be remover, it will be updater. And a lot of stuff will remain same, especially this part, because it's kind of cool, it gets the job done. So right, here we need to change specific things. I don't need this ID anymore, and we need to work with this part of the code. Okay, we're gonna put our instructions in these 3 double quotes. But before that, we need to grab stuff from keyboard, and the first thing we need to grab is ID. This is base of everything. So input and ID. Okay, same stuff for name, input name, and uppercase N. It will be polite if we do that, and I'm gonna copy paste to save a couple of seconds. This will be for last name, right, last name, and this will be for telephone, and this will be for email, email, okay, which means this must be telephone. And again, a new line, but this time for address, right, address. Okay, now when we grab this stuff from end users, we need to put that into instruction down there. So how we are going to proceed? Well, update where in table people. Right, so after that we must say set, what we are setting, basically new data that we are going to put, and I'm gonna go to next line, why not? And now we will grab name. First we will grab name. So this name must go into placeholder that we will grab from here with formatting. Again, we need to do same stuff for last name, and again place and telephone, same stuff. And let me proceed to next line. Email, same stuff, placeholder, and what else? Address will be again grabbed from keyboard. Now this is one part of the story. Another part of the story is where to put ID based on what we are updating. So this is part of standard MySQL operation, where so we are targeting that specific ID we are going to grab from here. So where ID equals again placeholder. Oops, what I'm doing, just a second. Where ID equals placeholder, of course, in quotes. Now when we are done with that, we must use format here. So dot format, and I'm gonna proceed to next line. Now here's the thing, first we need to grab this ID. Okay, so let's say ID, right? But the thing is, in our update statement we are starting from name, and actually ID is the last one. But when we are grabbing it, it's like a zero, it's starting point. So here you don't need to have just like empty placeholders. You can target those individual things, or those individual things that we are going to have here, you can target it by positions. So see this ID, actually here it is immediately after this parenthesis, it is at position 0. So now we will put that position right here. So this is how you mishmash positions and real stuff that you have after this parenthesis. So that means that next thing will be name. Okay, and name here is at position 1. Just visualize that this is position 1, this is position 0. So now we will put that position 1 here. Okay, and following same analogy, last name. Last name is at position 0, 1, 2, which means it needs to go here. And the same stuff for all other fields, 3 and 4 and 5. So what was important in this case is just that whatever we grab here from reality needs to end up as a 0 ground in ID. And yes, here we have it at the start, and here we have it like in end. So yeah, that's how to do that. But you probably know this from basic Python tutorials. You have that playlist on my channel, especially that. Actually, examples how to work with string formatting. Right. Next thing is for telephone, and next thing is for mail, and next thing is for address. Okay, so I think we are kind of cool, and I need to close this instruction. Right. Okay, and here I think it will be nice if we say type quit to break, enter to continue, because it's like a more better explanation. Enter to continue. Some people may be confused with this. Right. So F5, and hopefully I don't have any kind of errors. Okay, so custom updater, that's cool. Type quit to break, enter to continue. Let's type quit just to check, is that fine? Script terminated. Right. Let's run it again. And enter to continue. Okay, so now we are targeting specific ID, and I'm gonna resize this a little bit because I don't need this window to be so wide. Right, so we're going to change for ID1 telephone. So name is John, that will remain same. I mean, you can change also name and last name, but that's kind of permanent stuff when we talk about people relatively. And telephone will be, okay, 555. That's more obvious to note. Right, email, same will remain. And address will remain same. Main road, 123. And hopefully when I press enter, I will have that confirmed. Is it confirmed? Yes, I have 555 blah blah blah, which is same stuff as here. So let's confirm that right here with select all from people. Right, there you go guys, we have changed telephone. Question, can we change absolutely everything for Annabella for some stupid reason? Well, sure, let me resize this a bit. Okay, right, enter to continue. ID is 2, Annabella is at 2. Name will be GGG, last name GGG, telephone 333 or 888. Just make sure that it's integer, okay? And email will be also stupid, GGG at GGG dot blah blah blah, right? Kind of stupid, but it will work. It's so obvious that you will immediately notice that. And address will be GGG 321. At least something is changed. Okay, so theoretically here we are cool. And are we cool in reality, in database, in table? Right, there you go guys. Okay, so some people will say, wait a second, I mean, we see results when we are done. Can we see what is in table before we start operations? Because maybe we will not be able to see this in our system. Maybe it will be forbidden or something like that. Alright, so let me see what I can do. I need to get out from here first, quit, and actually I'm gonna grab this thing so I can put it at the top. I think this will work. I mean, yeah, we can export this into dedicated function here, but who cares? This hard coding will also get the job done, hopefully. Right, so F5, and now I need to see exactly this. So we have starting point in our Python script if we, for some reason, don't have access to this terminal. For some reason, I don't know. Right, so type quit to break. And actually, I need this line one more time because it's, I don't know, it's kind of cool if we have it. So let me see where I'm going to put it. Right, where is that thing? Okay, here. And I need to put it, for example, here. Let me see where I'm going to put it. I'm kind of confused now. Right, here. Okay, I think here. Anyway, I don't know, who cares. Right, so enter. ID we are going to change. Now we don't need to look in terminal, we have results here. And of course you can limit number of rows with limit. In MySQL there is that method, and I think in pure SQL is top, or in Access top. It depends about variants, but who cares. Right, so we're going to change everything from John. It will become TTT, something stupid, TTT, and some stupid number. Actually, let's have it 444. The email will be that one. And what else? Address TTT 321. And hopefully, there you go. Okay, we have same result. Okay, same result. So now we are cool. It's kind of confusing, but yeah, I definitely need to change that thing. I don't need it. It's just confusing me. Where is that thing? Right here. So yeah, I don't need it. Let me test one more time. Right, so again we're gonna change things for ID 2, and right now it's GGG, and we're gonna just say something stupid like that. Okay, email will not be correct, of course, but yeah, it's nice for installation. There you go. Oh, it's a long change, but yeah, who cares? Anyway, let's get out, and that's it, guys. That's how you change things. Well, how you update things. Of course, you can change one column if you have specific like requests, but yeah, it depends what you're doing. So this thing is basically bothers me a lot. It just doubles the amount of things I need to see on screen. So yeah, for some people it will be helpful, but I'm just gonna delete it. Let me confirm that one more time. Right, number 1, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's it. That works. Okay guys, in the next tutorial, what you're going to do, I really don't know, but probably it will be something fun. As always, thanks for watching, for support and subscription, and see ya in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching, see ya there. Hello guys, objective in this tutorial is to add new columns to our already existing table people. So that's what we are going to do. We're gonna add column at the end of table before ID. Yes, we can do that, and we will add new columns somewhere in the middle. For example, in between name and the last name we will add middle name column. And also we're gonna play around in this tutorial with default values for specific column. Why not? Right, so that's what we are going to do, and situation is that at the moment I don't have anything in my table because in the last tutorial I was having some gibberish there, so I decided just to truncate the table to delete all rows because they were stupid. Right, so SQL is a command that will go here. So what we need to say is alter table, because we are altering structure of table and we are not inserting value right now. So alter table people. What are we doing? Well, we are adding a new column. So add column, and what will be name of that column? That will be, let's say, at the end of table. Well, it will be last one because I'm not creative with names and I don't care, we're just experimenting. And in your project you probably know what you're doing, so I'm gonna use last one as a stupid default for a name of column. Right, is that enough? No, because we need to set data type. Right, so I'm gonna use varchar 100 because it's kind of well, generally it will solve a lot of things. Why not? And guys, that's pretty much it. So if I didn't create any kind of error with typing, I'm gonna press F5, and in a split of a second I don't have any kind of error. So let me check what's happening with structure. Okay, last one is to added at the end of table. So yeah, it's variable character, cool stuff. Right, what if we want to put something in between name and last name, like a middle name? Right, let me see what I can do. I'm gonna put this in a comment because maybe you need this for later, and instruction will be a little bit different, nothing much. So we will add new column, name of it will be middle name, and it will be variable character, also 100, and it will be after column name. So that's how you target that space in between columns where you want to have new column. So after column name, and save at F5, and let me check what's happening with the structure. Right, describe people. I don't have it for some stupid reason. Probably I have a typo. Just a second. Alter table people, add column and name. Well, yeah, var char. So one simple substitution of letters can create havoc. Okay, F5, and now the thing will work. 100%. Right, here we are, guys. Sorry about typo, but you know, it happens. Okay, what about some column before this column? For example, for some stupid reason, we need custom ID, which will be totally manual. For some reason, I don't know, we are just experimenting. So what we are going to do is this. Let me just put this in comments because it will be useful later. Right, so alter table people is the same. We're gonna add new column, and that's fine. A name of column will be custom ID. It will be a number, which means integer, and it will be a first. So I'm not inventing these operations in uppercase, these commands. This is part of standard, of MySQL standard. Right, so first means it will be totally at the first position in table. Whatever it is right now there, it will be pushed, how to say this, to right side. Well, anyway, let me run this and you will see what I'm talking about. Okay, so describe people, and there you go, guys. We have custom ID, which is integer, and it will not be automatically incremented because this is our own custom stupid manual ID. Right, so now it will be very nice if we can enter something in our table just to make sure that everything is fine. So yeah, I'm gonna do that manually here because I'm kinda lazy. I don't want to search for my scripts from a couple of tutorials before. So I'm just gonna say insert into, and I'm using lower cases like all pros. Don't do that, use uppercases, but who cares. So insert into people, and we need to follow order of columns from here. So custom ID and the name, middle name is a new column, last name after that, telephone and email and address in that order, and the last one is the last one. And when I press enter, we need to work with values following order from here. So custom ID, well, that will be integer, some very big and stupid integer, who cares. After that, we need to enter ID, which we will do with null, which means MySQL Server will take care about what is next, and it will be auto incremented. Right, so name will be string, of course. So, from that show in 90s, I think. Yeah, 90s, Nikita, you know, Michael and Nikita, you probably know that, some security agency, you know. I don't know, Nikita, and what was the name of that person? I really can't remember. So I'm just gonna say Smith. Oh, no, sorry, this is for middle name. Anyway, Nikita S, and last name will be Smith, who cares, and right, telephone, some very secure telephone, like when you dial it, you get security agency. And what is next? Email, secret at 0, let's say, and address will be Bletchley Park, I don't know, secret 000. And the last one will be, what I'm gonna put here. And actually I need to use single quotes because this is a string, so sorry about that, guys. It happens when I'm typing. Right, so last one will be, what that will be, I don't know, top secret, like some kind of documents, I don't know. And let me check, will this work? Right, okay, so select all from people. And there you go, guys, you have automatic ID, which is 1 because I have truncated this table before this tutorial just to have like a ground 0, so ID is 1. We also have some custom ID manual stuff which is insane, but it will work. And yeah, we have all other columns fulfilled. So question is, what about default value for last one? Can we do that? Yes. And the value of that thing will be ultra secure or ultra secret or ultra, just ultra. MI5, 6, I think. Right. Okay. So let me delete this. I mean, put it in the comments section. So again, we need to alter our structure a little bit. And this time we are altering stuff inside column. So we will say alter. What are we altering? Last name. And we will set that that default is string, which is ultra secure, ultra secret. Yeah, some very weird project. Right, save and F5, and hopefully when I do describe people, there will be that default thing here, but I don't have it because probably of typing error. Oh, name. It's not name, it's one. It's a last one. Sorry about typo. Now the thing will work. Okay. Describe people, and there you go, guys. Ultra secret is default stuff in last one column. Okay, so how to fulfill this with new values? I mean, that thing in such a way that default stuff will be activated. Can we do that? Yes. And there are a couple of ways. So let me find some stuff from a couple of seconds ago. Right, if you do have last one here, you also must have something down there that will hopefully go into default, into that field as default. But some people will say, if I type null here, maybe I will activate that ultra secret, which is default. So let me just see what's gonna happen. Oops, just a second. This is actually a problem. I need to work with values. Just a second. Values. Where are values? Right, so here I'm gonna say null. Okay, and now some people will think that ultra secret will be activated, but the reality is, yes, we do have entry, but select all from people will yield us totally weird result. So we have actually null here, and now people will say, okay, you need to enclose null as a string, which is actually well, it's not correct. So let me just test that. If you say null here, then again you will have something in a database, but it will be again a null. So it's really not important if you're using null as a null or null as a string. So some people will say, okay, wait a second, what if I forget this thing when I'm inserting? Will that then default be activated? Well, let me test that. I'm gonna disregard that column and enter, and I'm gonna disregard that value here, and the result will be fine. And if we select all from people, yes, ultra secret will be activated. But guys, that's not the purpose. That's not good, because you need that thing. Why do you want to delete the last one from insert statement? It's kind of stupid. Why do you have it at all? So the best option here, and basically what you must use, is this. Oops, let me disregard this. So just definitely use a last one as a target, as a one of column that need to be fulfilled, and then down there when you are messing around with values, for example from some HTML I don't know, form or something from Excel file or something like that from another MySQL table, then just add here default. default keyword, and now whatever is default, it will be activated. So let me check that. Column count, just a second. Why I do have this problem? Column count does not match value counted row 0. What is happening? Last one, default. Oh, address is a secret, sorry. So I need to have that secret. Secret 000. So sorry, that was for address. And yeah, default will be for last one. Sorry about that. Right, now the things are fine. So select all from people. There you go, guys. And with default, when you have that into request, when you have that, then whatever is default will be activated. So here's the thing. Definitely do have last one in a structure of your instruction, insert into. Definitely have that. Have some real value. And if you don't have real value, then do have default. Do not have null here or null with single quotes. Just have or real value or default keyword. Okay, and definitely have a name of column here. Don't disregard it for simplicity reason, just because you're kind of lazy to structure your script in a good way. So either default or real stuff, and then that default, whatever it is, will be activated. In our case, that's ultra secret. Yeah, what next? What next? Well, we can actually delete all these columns we have created. So before we do that, how to delete, for example, default value from column? Okay, so we're going to say SQL, and let me explain. So what are we doing is we are deleting this ultra secret, which is default stuff. So we are reverting to null. Okay, so let me do that. I'm gonna copy paste this to save a little bit of time if it's possible. So alter table people, alter last one, and we will just say drop default. Drop default. Okay, save and F5, and there you go. And now when we check what's happening with the structure of our table, now we do have it. Why I do have it? Oh, right, typo. Default. Right, now the thing will be okay. Select describe people. Right, there you go. Sorry about typos. Okay, fine. So what about removal of columns completely? Can we do that? Yes, of course. And I'm gonna put this into references. So SQL, and how we are going to delete specific column? Well, we are just going to say alter people a drop column. So we are not dropping default value. Now for real, we are dropping physically column, and the name of it will be custom ID, and let me run this. Okay, there you go. Let me check what's happening with structure. Describe people. There you go, guys. We don't have that column anymore. So we're gonna do the same stuff for middle name and for last one. Okay, so middle name, and F5. And also immediately we're gonna do that for last one. Save and F5. Now when I check the structure of my table, I will get exactly same result as from a start of our tutorial. Right, ID, name, last name, telephone, email, and address. That was default value, without all these three columns we were experimenting on. Right, guys, relatively long tutorial. Sorry about typos, but I'm gonna, too lazy to recreate this again. I mean, 20 minutes tutorial. Who's gonna record that again with all this MySQL stuff? Anyway guys, that's pretty much it. Now you know how to work with columns and default values, and yes, you can copy paste this or type it somewhere on your machine for reference reasons. Okay, thank you for watching as always, and yep, see you next tutorial. Okay guys, objective in this tutorial will be to combine all rows from two tables. Now second table, that's something we need to create, and that table with the name people2 for example must have absolutely same structure as primary people table, because we're gonna use standardized SQL commands union and union all. Union all will provide us with absolutely every row, and then we will see how to grab distinct values, unique values in both of these tables. In my case, I have just one table, which means I need to create people2. So you can do that manually, but I'm gonna cheat because I have a script from a couple of tutorials ago, my own script. So I'm gonna change a target to people2 and people2. Save and F5, and in a split of second I'm gonna have my table. Right. So let me see what's happening with reality here. So show tables. Okay. Here we are. That's describe people. That's the structure of primary table, and people2 is fresh one. There you go, absolutely same stuff guys. Right, so now we need to import how to type this, select all from people. We need to type at least something that is different here in a people table, because I have a lot of duplicates, and there is a reason why we need to have a same and different stuff in both tables. Let me just first insert something here, and to do that I'm gonna use a script from a couple of tutorials before dedicated for insertion of things. So right, the target will be, where is that thing? People table for now. So let me run that thing, and I'm gonna enter something stupid here just for simplicity reasons. AAA, same stuff, telephone 333 and AAA. This will be stupid mail, but it is very good because you will instantly recognize that thing in the results, and there is a reason for that. We're gonna explain about that in a split of a second. Right, okay. So now we have not just duplicates but also this line. Right, so let's have this line also in people2 table, which means that I need to get out from here. So thank you script, and now I need to change this script to target people2 table, and also I need to change this and F5, and I'm gonna type absolutely same stuff as a couple of seconds ago. There is a reason for that. Oops. Yeah, it will work. AA, telephone, what was it, 333, and that was stupid mail. It will work. AA, and what was the address? Let me just check that briefly. Select all from people. AA123. AA123 in people2 table. That's important. Okay, that's one entry. Let's just have briefly second entry. BBB telephone 444 and BBB at BBB dot blah blah blah, and address will be BBB 321. A little bit of space. Okay, we are fine. Quit. Script terminated. Thank you script. So here's the situation. How we are going to extract absolutely everything from here, including double insertions and including double insert AAA in both of these tables, because yes, we do have that thing in people, but also we have that thing in people2. See, right here and right here, these are different tables. So how to grab absolutely everything? Okay, that's the task. First, we're gonna use union all here. So this is simplified script from couple of last tutorials. We don't need for this simple stuff like to try accept block of code. This will get the job done because we are not committing, we are not doing inserts, we are just grabbing reports. So we don't need to commit, we are just selecting stuff. So SQL will be select all, from people, people, union all, and again you will say select all from people too. Select all from people too, and hopefully now I will have all results, absolutely everything. There you go, guys, we have those like duplicates. And also absolutely same stuff with work in a terminal. I'm gonna try to copy paste this. Hopefully this will get the job done. Right, it will work, and don't forget semicolon because we are in command line client. So enter, and as you see, absolutely same stuff. So I don't know, for some reason when you want to grab distinct things, you need to type union distinct here and you will expect distinct results, but for some reason it will not happen in this case. I don't know, maybe it's a bug on the side of MySQL Server, but there is a workaround in this case. As I said, when you say again you will get absolutely everything, which is actually not correct. Okay guys, that's wrong. And union distinct, you don't need to type union distinct because just union is enough. By default it needs to provide you distinct values, but it will not work for some reason. I don't know, as I said, I think this is some kind of bug, because a couple of months ago when I was working with this in a pure terminal, everything was fine when I was creating tutorials for my website, and I can actually show that to you. This is my website that I'm doing right now, and as you see, where is that thing? See, when I type union, I only get unique stuff. I don't know what's happening, but who cares guys? Maybe that will be corrected in some way. So the moral of the story, well, if I cannot use star here, that will create me problems with union distinct, then what can I do to still get results? Is there a workaround in the meantime? Well, yes, because we can say select, well, basically I'm gonna type that manually here first to prove that. So select, and don't use star or ID, just use name of columns, and then the thing will be done as everything is fine. So select the name and a last name from people, union or union distinct, same stuff, absolutely same stuff, and then again say select name and last name from people too, and now you will get distinct values. Let me confirm that. There you go, you have distinct values, and if here you say distinct, it will also work. Let me test that. Distinct, it will work, same stuff. And if you say union all, then again you'll get absolutely everything. So yeah, can we try that in Python script? Let me copy paste that right here, and we don't need semicolon because we are in Python. So just make a note that we are not using select all in this case, we are just using select columns. Okay, and now we will get cool results, distinct, unique results. As I said, I really don't know why this operation, exactly that one, will yield not unique stuff, but everything. So this is some kind of problem on the side of server in my case. I don't know why is that so. So this must give distinct results, and let's actually put that here, but it will not. See, we get everything, so that's some kind of problem. Don't blame me for this, probably I'm not guilty, I don't know. As I said a couple of months earlier, I was doing tutorials and programming, and it was fine. It was fine with that. See, select all from internal control, union, which means same stuff as union all, and select all from documents will yield me only unique things, internal numbers, and secondary IDs, because I don't care about IDs in this case when you're grabbing unique values, because what is important is value and not position and not ID. So I don't know, something is happening. Right, and this is my website that is in construction right now. It's kind of simple, I need to work on that more and enter explanation what will do what. Actually that part is done for Python, so you have explanations, and yeah, all other things here do have source code, and I need to work more on explanations about what specific source code will do. But anyway, that's the story about website. You probably don't care about that right now. Just remember that it is WebDev Pro tutorials. So maybe if you need source code, just grab it from here. And in the meantime, I'm gonna create slowly tutorials because that's a hell lot of work. Right. Let me get out from that website. And that's it, guys. Just remember that if you wanna grab distinct values in the meantime until this is resolved, then don't use select all, just use select names of columns, and make sure that you have them on the left side and on the right side too, in the same order. Okay. So yeah, do me a favor if you can, if you have this on your system, just check this, okay? Check this and talk to me in the comment section below, because I need to find out what is happening. Right, and thank you for that. So generally, thank you for watching, as always, for support and subscription, and see you next tutorials. Thank you and see you there. Hello guys, so you probably know that in the last tutorial I was kinda puzzled how it's possible when I use union, which is short for union distinct here, I have all these things which are duplicates. But actually this is not a bug on the side of server, everything is fine with the system, it is error on my side, because I'm just a human, and human, in my opinion, cares about these strings much more than the numbers. But the thing is that for a server these rows are really unique, and question is why? Well, because IDs, and all these IDs are unique. So when you look at every of these individual rows, it is really not important because I have Nikita so many times here. I also have ID as individual distinct part of the row. So that's why I have all these kind of duplicates. Okay, but question is, how to solve this if you ever run into this kind of situation? Well, you cannot use star here. It is kind of not safe if you want to grab real practical results that you can use in some of your reports. Yes, as I said, it is fine. Totally, it's fine programmatically, but it is not fine if you want to use this thing for something. So what you can use is just don't use a star and use column names on the left and also on the right side. So this will give us a correct result. I'm gonna just copy paste this pretty much. So don't use star, use like name and address, and we will get kind of safe report here. So we will not, oops, so no star, we need to use whatever is on left side, that also must be on the right side. So address, and now we will get those unique things, and now you can work on that more if you're preparing some kind of PDF or HTML report to your boss or whatever you are doing. If you're having some kind of shop and you're searching for duplicate products or individual or rows about those products, sorry. So yeah, that's one of the solution. And actually it is not just about union it is also about individual tables. Let me explain. So when you say select distinct all from only one table, let's say people, you will get same stuff. You will get duplicates, but actually for you they are duplicates, but for machine they are individual lines because of these ID. So you will probably say, well, what is the solution here if you want to remove these things? So if you have 5 of these or 10 of these entries, you can search for them and delete them manually, or you can find IDs and then pass those IDs to a custom script that will do removal. But basically you are thinking too much here. You don't need to you don't need to have complicated results, complicated approaches. But what you can do, which will be very simple and straightforward, is just target again those columns with where close. So delete from people where name equals what you want to delete, Nikita, in this case, and combine that with something else to make sure that you don't delete, for example, Nikita Fox or Nikita with some other last name. So combine 2 or 3 of these columns to be like safe. So, and address, I'm gonna combine with address here, which is secret 000. So before you do that, make sure that you have at least one of these lines in your backup, like in a notepad or in Excel, something like that, so you can do insertion of that line after you are done with removal of these duplicates, because probably you care about these things at least in one row in your table. So make sure that you have like a 1 row backup. Right, so let me press enter, and in a split of a second I will clear table from duplicates. And now when you say this distinct all from people, yes, you will get what is distinct. And yes, it is really not important if you are using select distinct all or just select all when you have only one entry in your table. So this is the reason why I have results in both of these cases, same stuff. But don't worry about this is situation on my part right now. Anyway, the more experienced people will say, well, sure, we can solve that manually, the problem with duplicates, or through some kind of script, but still we do have error on a part of desktop application or content management system, because that content management system is a place where we do have problem with duplicates, because server is just a server. Server is a dump, it will accept whatever you pass to it. But the problem is that application or that like a forum or accounting application that you have, probably you're using some kind of open source solution that is maybe not maintained for a couple of years, or you are experimenting with your own content management system, something like that. So yes, we need to solve a problem there at that place. And you have two approach here. First, if you don't have enough budget, it is way cheaper, well, sometimes, to buy additional hard drives or servers that will deal with duplicates than to hire very expensive programmers or consulting companies that will work with your server and with your application or management system. So sometimes it's easier to buy hardware than to hire programmers in some part of the world. So do whatever you need to do in your situation right now. No one is like pushing you to use perfect system when you're developing like your startup. And honestly, guys, sometimes duplicates, if you don't have them many, are totally acceptable because your time will probably be better invested if you work on marketing, or if you develop additional functionalities of your website, let's say, than if you are dealing with duplicates. Because a lot of people are trying to optimize way before it is time to optimize. And you can always get into your server and do a removal of duplicates manually. So if you're one-man show, something like that, if you don't have additional budget, then do whatever you can do and don't pressure yourself too much, because you're just a human being, you're not perfect. Right, so that's pretty much moral of the story in this case. Give yourself a little bit of time to process something that you think that it's bug, just like what happens to me in the last tutorial. Actually, everything is fine with the server. I was just like not focused enough to see that IDs are important. Well, you just stare at the screen and sometimes you just look into a couple of columns and you disregard other things because you're a human being. But pretty much that's it. And I can allow myself to do so, but when you're working with some real data, with the corporate stuff, then the better option will be to not panic. Just ask your colleagues to check what's happening, because they can see that faster with clear mind than you, that are probably overwhelmed with all kind of issues and bugs and your own thoughts and stuff like that. So yeah, we didn't write in this tutorial any kind of Python script, but hopefully you learned something here. So don't use star if you want to make sure, if you want to be sure, then just use, you know, column names, and union distinct will work as it needs to work. Okay, I'm gonna definitely shut up. Thank you for watching as always, and see you next tutorial. Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to completely automatically insert multiple rows in our table. And on my side, situation is that I don't have anything right now in a table because I have done that truncate thing. Right, so totally ground zero situation. Right, and we're gonna use try except block of code, but you know about that up till now. So let's work with SQL command here. So insert into table is play. I always mess this thing, and I will disregard ID here as a column because I need Mysql Server to care about that. Why not? Less typing if nothing else. So we are targeting name and last name and telephone and email and address in my case. After that we're gonna say values, because we need to have specific way how to extract generally those things from Python list. So what we need to type here is this %symbol and s, which means you will grab string from somewhere outside. And we are not talking about one string here, we have actually 5 things, 5 fields we need to fulfill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so we need to have 5 of these. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit of space to see things better. I don't need this last comma. So what about telephone? I mean, telephone is integer, and we are grabbing like a string here. Don't worry about that, because on the side of server, whatever it is, whatever you grab will be turned into integer. Right, so let's deal with that external list. So how we are going to call it, like our list, why not? Of course, brackets, and now inside for every row that need to be in table we will use normal parentheses, and inside we will deal with those individual elements. Right, so name will be Michael, I think, right, and the last name will be Smith, and number. So number can be either inside strings or just like this without quotes. So whatever you like. I'm gonna use quotes here. Right, mail will be at m.some domain, I don't know, and address will be main road 1, 2, 3. Okay, after that definitely don't forget comma, And let's press enter after a little bit of space because we need to work on a new line here. Inside parentheses, of course. Samantha and Fox and phone number like that and email Samantha S. Right, whatever, and center of city, I don't know, 456, something stupid like that. Okay, let me have this closing bracket right here. And guys, yes, you can have multiple, like here 5 or 10 rows here, but you're just doubling your work, so 2 of these will totally be fine. Okay, so what's gonna happen if I press F5 now? You expect that something will be cool, and if you check what's happening here with select all from people, nothing. Well, why is that so? Here's the situation. See this thing here? You cannot use execute anymore because you're not working with one row here. You're working with multiple rows, which means that you must use execute many. Execute many, multiple of them, and SQL is not enough because in SQL you have this part, but also you have right from values where we have those generic places that need to be fulfilled. So you also need to state that right here. So how you're going to say that? Well, just comma, and what is your external source? In our case, that is our list. And now when I press F5, hopefully I will have that, which means we are cool. But of course we must check what is happening in reality with our table, and there you go guys, we have it. And see, those automatic IDs are working perfectly. Right, so let me test that a couple of times, just, you know, for fun. F5, see, automatic IDs, and F5 again, there you go. And now when we are checking, we will have 6 individual rows. And yes, these things are individual because when you say select all, not all, but distinct all from people, you will get them all because they are actually distinct because of these IDs. But when you say select only name and last name that are distinct, then you will get just 2 things. See, Michael Smith and Samantha Fox, because we are targeting name and last name. See, it's so easy to grab these things, and I was talking about that in the last 2 tutorials. Right guys, pretty much that's it. Nothing special here. Just don't forget, you know, that these ending things need to be brackets, and then these internal things need to be parentheses, and inside those things, those rows that will end up in a table, they need to be delimited by comma. Right, and then don't forget that number of S's here need to correspond to number of columns you have in your request. Right, don't forget execute many and also state the source here. Okay guys, pretty much that's it. As always, thank you for watching, for support and subscription, and as always, thank you for watching. What, did I say that? Yeah, anyway, I need to go to bed, so yeah, see you next one. Okay guys, in this tutorial we're gonna talk about views. Views are just predefined ways how to get specific reports. Why do we need them at all? Well, let's say that 10 times during the day you need to find information, let's say, about Michael. So why do you need to type that thing in a terminal many times when you can save that request? So when you target that request with a very short line, you will get that thing. So they are predefined requests. Right, so how to create it? Well, try and accept block will remain unchanged here, we're gonna just say this: create view and not table. And what will be name in this case? Well, let's just say find Michael. And yes, you can use uppercase here as a first character, but it's totally up to you how you're going to call it. Right, and now when we have name, we need to say as. And if you want to go to next line, here you need to say that what is needed is absolutely everything about Michael. So how to do that? Well, you will say select all from people, because people is our target, it's our table. Right, but I have a problem here with the command, which means that when you run into this, what you can do either to have everything on one line or just use triple quotes here. So it's totally up to you what you like more. Okay, triple quotes will get the job done when you have multiple lines. Okay, let's continue with the view. Now you will say what are you searching for? Well, you will say where name equals what? Michael. Okay, Michael is object of your interest. And now down there you don't need to search what's happening with the table, you need to get into view to see what is there once when you have it. So let's change that. Find Michael. And hopefully when I press F5, yes, here we are, we do have absolutely everything about Michael. And obviously if you want to be safe, if you have many rows, many hundreds or thousands of rows, you will probably combine, for example, one column with another column as name plus last name and plus address, something like that. Right, so how to detect that you have view in your system? Well, you will just say this, show tables, and when you do that you will see tables plus views. Okay, but views are not tables. Tables are just like storage, and views are way how to get stuff from storage. And also you can extract that thing right here. How? Well, you will say select all from where? From find Michael, because that's our target. Find Michael. And guys, that's it, pretty much same situation as when you do individual request, but when you don't save that requests. So views are just saved requests. Right, what else can we do here? Well, for example, we can find something about, let's say, Samantha. And we can say here where name equals Samantha. And again, we will just get everything about Samantha, and all other things will be disregarded. Why do we have this problem? Just a second. Samantha, find Samantha. Yeah, I need to change name of view. And that means I'm gonna create it. There you go, guys. So when you grab additional stuff, just change name of that report. Yeah, you need to pay attention about that, because there is no purpose in searching for different stuff if you have a view with the same name. So that's kind of stupid. So for everything what you're searching for multiple times during the day, do have a report, and actually you must have a report with a dedicated name, and then you will get correct results. And also let me do that manually, like select all from find Samantha, and there you go, guys. Now we have it here, of course. Okay, so question is how to delete your views, because now we have two of them. Well, if you say drop find Michael, you will get into problem. If you say drop table Michael, you'll get into problem. So don't use table here, because we are not talking about tables, we are talking about views. And now when you say drop view, you're gonna delete that thing. And let's delete stuff for Samantha, view dedicated for Samantha, enter sorry, And there you go. And now when I say show tables, we will just have blanco tables, right, with the data in it. Okay guys, that's pretty much nothing special here. Views are very simple. Okay, so from now on I can create like Python tutorials for absolutely every method you have in MySQL, but I think that's kind of stupid because I'm gonna just double information that I already have in my YouTube channel in dedicated Python MySQL playlist. So what you can do if you want to practice, you can just go to my website and yes, I'm working on it. I need to create explanation what specific part of the code do, but you have all those instructions here if you want to play around. So yes, you can grab what's happening with not condition, order by, average function if you're working with numbers a lot, with length, mid, U case, L case, basically how to turn a report into all uppercases or lower cases or something like that. So there is really no purpose in explaining what I have already explained on a website and also in my YouTube channel multiple times pretty much up till now. So guys, I'm gonna close this playlist right here, and I do think that you have enough background right now to combine Python plus MySQL, which will greatly help you if after this you are learning any other programming language that deals with SQL in general. So it's really not important if it's Python or some other language. The basics are just same. You do have your connector, and then you need to target specific cursor, and then you have a block of code that is that will do some kind of error checks and rollbacks, and then you will print those results, and then you will close connection. So it is really not important if it's Python or something else. The meta-like structure is absolutely same when you're working with SQL Server or MySQL Server or whatever. And if you know MySQL, you can just go to another database system and learn about that in 3 hours or in 3 weeks, no problems. Differences are not that big once when you know the basic stuff. It will just become your second nature to learn very quickly additional things, and that's cool stuff about programming in general, but yeah, you need to invest a little bit of time to reach that point. Anyway guys, I'm gonna pretty much shut up here in this playlist, and as a final thing, right, so let's delete totally our tables. Why not? So we will just say drop here table people, drop table people, and we can just say down there show tables. Oops. And F5. There you go, we have people 2 now. Let's delete people 2. Okay, F5. Now we don't have any kind of tables here, so let's say show tables. Again, nothing. And as a final thing, let's delete whole corp database. Why not? Drop database, which is dangerous and scary thing, corp, and then we will say show databases. And you will get only databases that are default when you are installing MySQL Server. Right, so F5, and there you go guys, as exactly. Okay, let's manually check that, show databases, and default MySQL Server stuff. Okay guys, I'm gonna definitely shut up. As always, thank you for watching, for support and subscription. Spread the news, you will greatly help, and as always, see ya in the next playlist. Okay, see ya there.